Welcome to Professor Fu Jing. Thailand just opened up for Chinese visitors, so Fu Jing is right on time here. Absolute perfect timing. Fu Jing is Vice President of Chengdu College of Hospitality Management, the only school of its kind mainland China. Before joining Chengdu, Fu Jing was Program Manager at the Polytechnical University in Hong Kong. We had Professor John here yesterday. Fu Jing made her PhD in Thailand. After that, she has done research in Greece and in the US, so she is international in her view. Fu Jing has lately done research on what motivates Chinese visitors, and that is something which is of great interest to a large audience. Fu Jing, happy to have you. Please go ahead.
Okay. So allow me to share my screen here. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, the world. I'm very happy to share this topic with you. And this topic is about customer knowledge management, re-engaging Chinese tourists in the destination of Thailand. My name is Fu Jing. I'm from Gingko College of Hospitality Management in Chengdu. So this is the first and the only higher education institute of its kind in mainland China. And we did this research with the Thailand Research and Science Innovation. So allow me to share some interesting ideas with you. So we all know that China is the top resource country in the world, and also the largest spender in terms of international tourism. And but it is very interesting to know that less than 10% of the Chinese residents have traveled abroad. It is predicted that by 2027, there will be 300 million Chinese people will have their passport, meaning that 20% of the Chinese people will have a chance to travel abroad. So we also know that Thailand is the international destination welcoming the friends and visitors from all over the world. And tourism is a very important sector in Thailand, which covers 11% of its GDP. After the outbreak of the pandemic, and it's very happy to see that Thailand is the #2, the best recovery country, according to the GCI data. So Thailand is always the preferred destination for Chinese. From this table, we can see that in the consecutive 5 years, Thailand is the top 1 preferred destination for Chinese to go. From the data of TAT, it is predicted that there will be more than 12 million Chinese tourists visiting Thailand before they see the pandemic comes. So there are some interesting questions raised. Firstly, so who will be the first batch of Chinese tourists visiting Thailand? Secondly, what are they going to do in Thailand? And thirdly, how Thailand attract those Chinese tourists? So to answer these questions, and we did a research from the perspective of CKM, Customer Knowledge Management. And the CKM means the management and exploration of customer-related knowledge, which on one hand focuses on the interaction between the companies and the customers, and also to shift the attentions from what we know to what customer knows. So in order to understand the CKM, and we did the research to structure our questions into 3 perspectives. And the research was conducted online with the very popular online questionnaire 问卷星.com from July to September. And we distribute this online questionnaire throughout of the China. And there are 18 questions asked, both in quantitative nature and also quantitative nature. The questions were structured into knowledge about the customer, to understand the demographic features of the respondents, and knowledge from the customer to understand the motivations and preferences of traveling to Thailand after the COVID-19. And also to understand knowledge for the customers to provide the information and the knowledge that can be turned into business value to encourage purchase and repeat purchase. So the research, the questionnaire was distributed in whole China, meaning that 6 geography regions. And finally, we have got 803 effective samplings. From this map that we can see that the majority of the respondents are from Southwest China, which covers 3 provinces, 1 central governed city, and also 1 minority autonomous region. And let's take a look at the knowledge about the customers. From this table, we can see that the majority of the respondents are females, and they are quite young. And most of them are from Southwest China, as I just mentioned. And half of them are working in public sector, including education sector. And also half of them are working in the companies. There are also some freelance and other careers. It is very interesting to see that most of the respondents have quite high education. So at least they have got their first degree from the higher education. And the majority of the respondents belong to the middle level income and even higher earners. In this research, we found out more than 60% of the respondents have never been to Thailand in terms of traveling, working, or study. And their English, quite good. So many of them can communicate in basic and very daily life. And quite a few of them can communicate in more complicated situations. So in summary, the knowledge about the customers, we can see a very young and more affluent and well-educated segment, and the females and also from the Western China. So the second question we understand is the knowledge from the customers, which means that we need to understand the motivations and also the preferences of the respondents. We did the comparison between one research we did in 2017 before the pandemic and also this year. And it's very interesting to see that there are top 10 motivations for the Chinese tourists to travel into Thailand. And in 2017, to watch Lady Boy show is the first priority. And in this year, it became the number 10. So people are more interested in the beach, the cultures, food and fruits, and also shopping, and also Buddhism, the religion. And it is the first time to see that the respondents mention about the high quality of the hotels and the tourism services provided by Thai tourism sectors. When we asked about the duration of traveling to Thailand, and the majority of the respondents would like to spend more than 1 week in Thailand. And also they would like to travel to the south part of China, Thailand, which has a lot of beautiful beach and sea, the central area, for example, the capital, and also the northern regions, which is very famous for cultures. It's interesting to see that still quite a few of the respondents would like to travel to Thailand, especially in the northeast part of Thailand, which is less popular and less known destinations in Thailand. When we asked about the budget for 1 week trip, and it's good news for Thailand that a majority of the respondents would like to spend more. For example, here we have quite a few of the respondents would like to spend more than 20,000 yuan, which is quite a big amount of money. And even quite a few would like to spend more than 30,000 yuan for 1 week trip in Thailand. Whether Thailand is still the preferred country to go? The answer of yes or no, respectively, account for 27.9% and 22.54%. The majority remain unsure because of the pandemic. And Thailand is the competitor of Singapore and Malaysia. When we ask about how the Chinese tourists get the information about Thailand, so this is the top 10 information channel that respondents understand Thailand and know the up-to-date news of Thailand. It's obvious to see that the majority would like to search information from China-based social media. And also, more than 37% of the respondents still believe in word of mouth from their relatives and their friends. When we ask about what they concern about traveling to Thailand after COVID-19, and these are the top 3 concerns. Of course, firstly, people are asking about the protocols of diagnosis and treatment, and also the preventive measures taken by the government and also private sectors. And the language of Chinese was mentioned many times. So that is to say, the service and warning identifiers written in Chinese and staff competent in Chinese speaking are considered very important. So the respondents believe a lot on the public publications made by the government and both Thailand and also China to build the confidence of the tourists. When we ask about who is responsible to communicate with the tourists, so again, respondents believe in the information delivered from the government, such as embassies or the consulates, and also the tourism sector of both countries. So according to the second part of the findings, it can be drawn that Thailand is still the preferred destination for the respondents, even though there are many concerns about diagnostics, treatment, preventive measures. And also this information are expected to be communicated in the Chinese language to build trust and confidence. And also the public presentations from the government, the e-word of mouth conveyed on the social media, and also recommendations from friends and relatives are of great importance. So the question comes to who are the most likely to travel after the COVID-19? It is shown that the younger people are more likely to travel, and the people who have experience of traveling, worked, or studying in Thailand or overseas are more likely to travel. And the middle-level income earners and highly income earners are more likely to travel. So how to engage those who are mostly likely to travel or who have potential to travel? And it's not surprising to see that the people who search information on Google are also the audiences of the overseas platform like TripAdvisor, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And it's very interesting to see that these audiences are also constant users of China-based social media. For example, TikTok, the short video sharing platform. Bilibili, also video sharing platform. Weibo, microblog. Xiaohongshu, this is a social media and also e-commerce platform. And of course, QQ and WeChat. It's worth noticing that the users of QQ and the users of WeChat are very different. So the users of QQ are much younger. Also, it's very interesting to see that the people who search information from official website of the government are also the users of online travel agency and also traditional travel agency. And also the users search the website of the government too. So from here, we can say that if you want to catch up with your target customers, it's very important to know their searching behavior. So knowledge from the customers can be drawn here. Still, there are many concerns about safety and hygiene. And here, the confidences brought from government and the DMOs are very important. And here we found out the consumers' needs become more diverse and become more personalized. Surfing online and UGC shared from the social media are more trending. And it's very happy to see that the stereotype of Thailand, for example, Thailand is about watching Ladyboy show, has been improved. and the understanding about Thailand has been enriched. Knowledge for the customer. This is to attract your customer, your target customer, to encourage the purchase and also repeat purchase. So since people concern a lot about their hygiene and also about their health, so it is suggested to focus on culture, nature, and leisure, and also to highlight the cleanliness, the health, and wellness of Thailand. And also for each destination, for example, the south part of Thailand, north part of Thailand, and also the central part like the capital. So it will be important to attract the customers to this region by providing one-stop service destination. For example, including catering offerings, the guest amenities such as the hiking, handicrafting, making experiences, and also to expose the culture, to organize some workshop or performances, to engage the customer into their culture, and also to highlight the medical and wellness treatments. Because Thailand is like the country in Southeast Asia which has the biggest number of the internationally recognized hospitals. Okay, so who will travel after the COVID-19? Who will be the first batch of the Chinese tourists? And we know that less than 10% of the total population have experience of traveling abroad. If Thailand would like to get their first batch of the Chinese tourists after the COVID-19, it's very important to understand about their customers and to focus on what customers know. So here are some references that you can turn to, and questions are welcomed.
Thank you, Fujin. Very interesting. Particularly, I find this when you have time series, you figure out how are the motivation changing over time. I believe that is something which can be or will be very interesting for a lot of destinations. I could expect you to expect that a lot of destination managers will knock on your door the next time. Very interesting. Thank you so much. You are on the show, you have your booth, and if somebody are interested in reaching out to you, you will be available. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.